Welcome back to another episode of Adam Bergman's Moneymakers. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Today I want to talk a little bit about Palantir. Palantir is not the only stock I invest in. I actually have like a few dozen stocks that I invest in, but Palantir is a very interesting stock that I think could make me many millions of dollars in the long run, so I want to talk about it. I'm realizing that the more I research Palantir, the more I realize that I am learning something about Palantir every single time I read a new article, every single time I see a new video, so on and so forth. And I could just imagine how difficult it is for my subscribers or people that are just coming across this channel to be like, Adam, what the heck are you talking about? What exactly does Palantir do? Matter of fact, a lot of Wall Street people and a lot of engineers don't know what Palantir does. With that said, I do have a very unique set of skills. And no, I am not Liam Neeson. My set of skills is to take something that's very, very complicated and break it down into plain English so people understand. Palantir is an AI data analytics company, which means they are an artificial intelligence data company, and they process your data. While most companies process data and give you raw data, Palantir tries to do something preemptively and tries to do something that is a little bit more evolved. And instead of giving you the raw data that you're going to go through, Palantir already perceives or interprets what you're going to need with that data, and not only finds you the data, it already translates that data into the next steps that you would need. That's one thing that they do. Second thing Palantir does is they don't find a way for you to be better. They find a way for you not to be worse. They omit errors. They make sure that you are more efficient by making sure that you are not less efficient. If that makes sense, what I just said. I'm going to read you an article shortly about one of Palantir's partners, BP, British Petroleum. They're the second largest gas company in the world. Before I do that, I wanted to give you a third thing of what Palantir does in plain English. They take data and let's say there are independent moving parts of a business. You have part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. Doesn't matter how many parts. Each of these independent parts can be super efficient on their own, like top of the line. But if all these parts cannot communicate with each other for the next portion of what all these parts need to do together, right? Move the company or move a certain asset or move a certain protocol, all these parts together, well then, the sum of all the parts is irrelevant if each part cannot communicate with each other. In other words, one wheel cannot drive a car. No matter how good that wheel is, you need to have all 4 wheels communicating with each other in order to move that car. Palantir does exactly that. I'm going to read you an article right now about Palantir and BP, and that might start making a little bit of sense of what I'm talking about. This was an article that was written on February 5th, 2021. It says BP has been using Palantir software since 2014. Keep that in mind. This is not the main article that I want to read, but keep it in mind that they've been working with Palantir for about 8 years now. And I quote, helping deliver energy more safely and efficiently in a disrupted market while supporting the transformation of a business and size and scale of BP is exactly what we built platforms to do. And just so you understand the massive scale of contracts that Palantir signs, the average Palantir contract is $6.5 million. That's also why the number of their clients is not immense. It's not huge. It says that it engaged Palantir in a 10-year, $1.2 billion contract. In the agreement, Palantir's job is to build and maintain a digital twin of BP's oil well infrastructure. Just for you to understand what a digital twin is. A lot of us know about metaverse, especially if you're watching my channel from my crypto basis. A metaverse is essentially a digital world. Well, that's essentially what the digital clone is of Palantir. It basically takes your entire company, it clones it into the digital world, and then you can play around with it. For example, if X happens, this affects Y, and if Y happens, this definitely affects Z. It allows you to predict and interpret different types of occurrences that might or might not occur in the future. It can also allow you to omit a certain feature or a certain predicament or a certain function that will be happening or possibly happening in the real analog world in this now digital twin. It allows you to prepare for tons of different unforeseen circumstances, and all you got to do is put it into the actual program to foresee what could or could not happen. So now we know that they've been working with BP since 2014. We know that they have a 10-year, $1.2 billion deal. Now I wanted to read you the most current article that just came out yesterday between Palantir and BP, so you actually understand what they're doing for them. In this article, it explains exactly how important Palantir is and how important even a 1% improvement can be. So it says, hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue can be unlocked with a reliable plant that is both safe and productive. Even 1% improvement in overall operations availability can translate to a significant value. Remember, BP paid $1.2 billion. That's a lot of money in order to be more productive. However, reliable in operations facilities can be impacted by many factors, including unforeseen environmental events can be impacted by many factors. Now, before I read this, keep in mind what I said, what I just read. Keep in mind what I was talking about the digital clone. Including unforeseen environmental events, planned maintenance, plant turnarounds, and unplanned equipment failures. Timely analysis of such events is crucial to inform actionable plans that improve reliability. Millions of static and dynamic data points must be comprehensively analyzed to understand the potential impact of reliability-related vulnerabilities, risks, and bad actors. Millions of data points. Millions of data points. They give a quick brief synapse of where it started. How we started. Given the global nature of the discipline, deciding where to begin is a challenge. To find our starting point, we first focused on understanding existing data sets and their value and relevance to reliability performance. It's all about the performance by omitting issues. Decrease inefficiency to increase efficiency. By using Foundry's big data platform, we were able to connect existing data from disparate systems in a consistent manner, then organize the data to reveal BP Production's reliability and operational availability performance at regional, asset, choke, and system levels. Just listen to what I said. Regional, asset, choke, and systems levels. Just understand all the data that they're bringing in on how many different levels and how much aspect they bring and clarity they bring to this game if you're using Foundry. Displayed in a simple and easy to interpret format. So they take super complex data from many different aspects and levels of what they're analyzing, and they put it into a very super simple, readable format. Very crucial statement. From standalone to a connected data network to insights. Eventually, every step of the business process becomes a coherent data point. While these individual points may produce limited meaning, when knitted together, they create a story. You heard what I just said? Each of these data points has limited meaning, right? So one thing doesn't mean anything, this thing doesn't mean anything, that thing, and a million different things don't mean anything. But when you connect all those million different data points together, now you start getting a story. Now you can understand what is happening, what is not happening, what can happen better, and what can happen worse. And you can start taking into account unforeseen circumstances. By contrast, connecting data across disparate systems that support various reliability and availability analytics in a central access location enables a common operating picture for the organization to assess the effectiveness of existing processes, identify pain points, and generate new insights. You heard what I just said? Assess the effectiveness of the existing process. So what you're doing right now, is it good or is it not? Identify pain points, so figure out what the heck is going on if there's any problems, and generate new insights. Figure it out, what you're doing good, figure out what's going wrong, and figure out a new game plan if needed to make more production, to bring up the asset value, to bring up the worth of your company and the production. At the end of the line, at the end, bring up your bottom line. And in closing, beyond intuition, in order to make a difference to the business bottom line, intuition and business knowledge must be paired with data. Partnering with reliability, subject matter experts, and equipping them with data-driven tooling that sheds light and soil data powers them in their day-to-day work and has many benefits. First, these experts are able to verify the accuracy, completeness, and relevance of the data. Second, examining insights surfaced by the data can spark new ideas and thinking. And third, by automating trusted data preparation, engineers spend far less time collecting and manipulating data and more time analyzing. Let's just close this out. In summary, we hope this partnership reflection promotes understanding of where and how best to start digital transformation journey in a complex global organization. It underscores our key takeaways that data is a valuable asset and plays a key role in providing business insight across business processes. Palantir's big data platform promotes cross-team collaboration. I'm gonna stop there. You guys can read the whole article by yourself, but I hope that you guys are starting to understand and get some clarity about what's happening. When I read articles like this, especially when I break it down into plain English, I don't even need to be using Palantir's Foundry system. I don't need their operating system to see all the data and all the clarity of what I'm reading. For me, Palantir is the future. For me, Palantir is 10 years ahead of all their competition. What their competition is doing today, Palantir was doing 10 years ago. Palantir is an absolute monster, and they have a moat around them, right? So to get to Palantir, you can't, because they have this huge moat around them, and that moat is nobody can exactly do what Palantir does. Now, Palantir has been getting a lot of hate, very little love from Wall Street. And I think it's just becoming more apparent what Palantir does. I think people are starting to understand what they could do, what they are doing, what they've been doing, and the possibility of what's going to happen in 10 years from now. Because if they had the technology that their competition has today, 10 years ago, can you just imagine where they're going to be in 10 years from now? I have my own theory, I have my own assessment, and I'm gonna keep sharing it with you guys on my channel. I do cover other stocks. Thank you so much for watching. Please give me the likes, please give me the shares, please give me the subscribe. If you have any questions, let me know down below. I love Palantir, it's an absolute beast of a company, and yeah, I hope we all make a lot of money. I'm not a financial advisor, I'm just an entertainer and educator at best. Cheers.